actually check people in. We do that, but you can help us out by, if you see somebody sneak past us, we have a fun big clipboard that's unnecessarily large with sheets on it with names. I'll show you what the sheets look like in a second, but if you see somebody like skirt past us, you have to just say, hey, did you guys check in? Go see the supervisor so you can play. The only way they can play is if they check in. They have to have a UNCW ID, which you guys don't really care about, but the biggie is check players for jewelry. The best way to like set a really good standard with teams is, hey, I see you have earrings in. Can you take them out? No, great, bye. Same thing with nose rings. You'll see girls are like, well, I'm never taking it out. I don't think I can. I just got my nose pierced 4 hours ago. Really sorry, we do not tape over anything. Except medical alert bracelets. So this is the fun sheet that you guys will see us have on our unnecessarily large binders. There'll be colors. The names are really important, signatures. That's all we care about for volleyball. They have to have on one card. This really doesn't apply to you. But what does apply to you is, how do I do my laser again? Sportsmanship ratings, that's all on you. That's your big power for you guys. So you get to say which teams get to go on to playoffs, essentially. If a team is really being nasty, then you can give them a low sportsmanship. They're talking back because volleyball gets really intense. You can give them a lower sportsmanship rating because you have to have at least a 2 to make it into playoffs for sportsmanship. So if they're being the worst, you can fill out a lower one, talk to us because we have to fill out a form. But then we also need to know who our winners are and the scores also. So this part, that's your job. And that's it. So when Lucy and all of her best friends come and they show up, they can't be having hats inside. I don't really know why girls work out in hats anyhow, but that's a thing. So sorry if you haven't washed your hair in 10 days, you cannot wear a hat to play. You also have to have closed-toed shoes. A lot of people are like, oh, I came for volleyball, and they're wearing bare feet. No, they have bare feet. They're not wearing shoes. Can't do it. It's indoor. You stub your toe, you break your toenail off. I don't want to hear Lucy crying and wailing and having to call an ambulance because she's missing her big toenail now. Players must wear athletic attire. So what I'm wearing now is not okay. Sometimes you'll see dudes who are like scouted walking to WAG, grabbed in and playing in khakis. Khakis are a no-go. If you go down and rip your pants, we don't want to see that either. So athletic wear only. Yes, you can wear like leggings and spandex and all that good stuff for players. We can't. Sorry. You have to wear your appropriate gym clothes. We're all going to be playing on just court 6 for the MAC gym. Cool, great. Yep, just court 6 in the MAC gym. That's the one closest to, how many of you guys were refs before? Cool, solid. So you guys get your equipment out of a double door storage area. It's right next to that. So we don't need you to like pick up the big heavy poles and walk 100 yards and then throw them over. Like this isn't CrossFit. It's going to be right there. So that's really convenient. Do you guys know where the MAC gym is? So, the pool is right here. We all know the court 4, which is the one surrounded in glass. Next to that is where all the guys in the tiny tank tops work out. If you walk down that, past all the girls on the ellipticals and the treadmills, it's the, but like you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? It's the courts that have like the indoor soccer, indoor hockey, like round with the walls that you can slam people up against, but we don't do that here because we're far more mature for that. So that's where it'll be played. Cool. Which we possibly may be meeting there tomorrow. I don't know if any of this is usable on whatever you're trying to videotape me for. So it's fine. Yeah, no, it's good. All right. So before every game starts, you're going to do a captain's meeting. For the first couple of weeks, it's going to be basics because, like you'll see in the game tape, a lot of the teams are like, volleyball is a sport, right? Like they've never played. Like, I thought I showed up for dodgeball. It's bad. So you'll go through the basics. The gender rules are really, really, really the most important because people don't quite grasp that if they're signing up, and that's only for co-rec. So you'll go through the gender rules, which we'll talk about later. But the biggie is figuring out who has serve, receive, and side. So on my, this goes so slow. Okay, great. So on here we've got home team and visiting team. So the visiting team will get to Do they get to pick? Wow, really? So we do, okay, cool. So, what is your name?
Octavia.
Not you.
Oh. You like looked at me, but.
I pointed like this, so it probably wasn't great. Hey, well, you can be my visiting, and you can be my home team. So usually I like to stand between them, so if she's standing behind me, that'd be great, but she's not because she's sitting down. So my visiting team gets to pick even or odd. So I have a whole number behind my back, and she's gonna guess even or odd.
Even.
Did you see my number?
No, I really didn't.
Great, so it's evens. She gets to pick whether she wants to serve, receive, or pick a side. So you get one of the three options. What would you like? So she wants to serve first. That means that you get to pick which side you want to start on for the court. It really doesn't matter because you're inside. There is no difference in the playing field, in wind, in sun, anything. Who cares? But it's a big thing. So she gets to pick which side. She can just point. She's going to serve first. She will receive on whichever side she would like. So if she had picked receive, that means now we get to pick side and she gets serve. If she picks side, that means now we get to pick either serve or receive. So it's, if you pick serve, the other team automatically gets receive. If you pick receive, the other team automatically gets serve. But if somebody picks side, then you have to ask which would they like, serve or receive. That's like one of the hardest parts of the job, which really isn't hard at all. Cool, so if there's a third game, you do it all over again, except now the home team. No, really? The visitors still do it? Okay, great. The visitors will still get to guess again. And we don't have coins, just do it number behind your back. Do 1 or 2 instead of like 3 to 5, because that's playing too much of the odds there because you have more odd fingers than you do even. Think about it. So we play best 2 out of 3 games. So you will at least have 2 games. If Team A wins the first one and Team A wins the second one, you're done and you finished early. Good job, that's a goal. If Team 1, no wait, I said A and B. If Team A wins the first one and then Team B wins the second one, that's when we have to do that visitor guesses again. We have to do our captain's meeting. So we're gonna go to a third set. Just so you guys get the lingo, the whole thing is called a match. We play best 2 out of 3 games or sets in one big match. So if somebody says game 1 versus game 2, they're talking about the games in the match. So our first and second games are all played to 21. There's a cap at 23. Cool thing about volleyball is you have to win by 2. So if somebody's ever like, what, man, that was a terrible call. Well, did you lose by 1? No, because it's physically impossible in volleyball. Great.
Not true.
Not true, what? Well, if for the cap, yeah, but co-rec games are usually 21 to like 6 or 7. And same thing with the women's volleyball. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a game get within like 5 points. Championship games? Okay. So,
That's like,
yeah, and it's still like not even that close. So cap is at 23. Win by 2 for the remainder of it. So 21-19 is an acceptable score, 22-20 is an acceptable score, 23-21 or 23-22 when we get there at the end. The third game is played to 15 only. There's no cap, but you still have to win by 2 because volleyball. 1 timeout per game, 30 seconds in length. Try to not let them have a 6-minute timeout because then you start getting really far behind and then that's later you have to go home. So I like to whip my phone out if you have it. Time it so we get them rolling. Rally scoring. None of us were alive when side out scoring was a thing. This is what all volleyball has always been played forever. If you get the point, you get the point. And that doesn't mean I have to serve to get the point. What?
they aren't supposed to have their phone on them. Just a reminder.
If our supervisor has a phone. A watch, we're allowed to watch it up, aren't we? No, we're not. Like watch, we're allowed to have a watch. They're not allowed to have a watch. They are?
A watch is the only acceptable.
Cool, you guys can do it on your watch because we all have Apple Watches and Fitbits.
Don't leave your phone and your stuff when you come out of work.
Yeah. Are they still in the box to scorekeep?
Yeah, somebody will be.
Okay.
Not them. It'll be
A supervisor now?
Yeah.
It used to be a ref.
Yeah, we changed it.
We don't have enough. Cool, the ref will keep the score for you. Or keep the time and the score. So, for rotating, perfect. It's super easy. It is clockwise when you're rotating. But since you'll be standing right here, you're gonna see people still going clockwise, except on this side. it'll be the other way. But, so this is the position that serves, and we're always going clockwise. Make sure this guy isn't serving for 7 rotations in a row, and that he's moving every time. That's one of the other most important things. You have 5 seconds to serve the ball. That's rarely going to be an issue because as soon as people get back, they're like, gotta go! You're not going to have a person serving. And still, that was under 5 seconds. So you get 1 drop per serving rotation. So if I go and serve and I toss the ball 7 feet behind me and I let it drop, we're good. If I try to do that again, then it's a point for the other team. But if I go all the way around, I rotate, go. If I rotate all the way around, I was just here, I served, and I do it again, that's fine. Because I get 1 bad toss per rotation. And that means if I have a bad toss and the next person serving has a bad toss, cool. Everybody can have 1 bad toss per service rotation. And you can serve from anywhere. You really won't see that because people will literally only serve from right here. But on the end line, I can serve from over here and run in anywhere I want. But this is my position on the court. This is where I need to be standing when we rotate because I have to come here next. So I can serve from over here or I can serve from over here and come in. It don't matter. These are the biggies that you're gonna have to explain during the very first. Am I even in the camera frame? Because I'm moving over there.
Probably not all the way that way.
Cool. So this is like a waste.
But you don't have to say exactly the camera point, right?
Okay. All right. Each team gets 3 hits per side. This is one of the calls. So if you have our 3 contacts, we got 1, 2, 3, and then she catches it or grabs it or tries to hit it over because she's frustrated that we didn't get it. There is a call. That'll be 4. Because anything more than 3 contacts is a no-go. So, can you demo with me? So, I'm going up to hit the ball on my side. He's on the opposing team. He's trying to jump up and block the hit that I'm doing. If I go up, wait, give me the ball. We can do this. We can really do this. I'm not actually going to hit it at you. So, if I go up and I hit the ball, he puts his hands up, he blocks it, and it goes straight down. Good for him, he gets a point. There are some issues where if he goes up and touches it, and it goes, no, just let it hit through your hands, and it goes behind. That block at the net does not count as a touch. So that means his team has 1, 2, and they send it over with a 3rd contact. What he also can do is go up and block me again. If he goes up and blocks it, it goes straight down in front of him, and then he's able to play the ball down here. Not like that, but like this.
Okay.
It's fine. That will count as 1 touch just because it's his first contact. So that's the only time you can touch the ball 2 times in a row, is if it comes in on a block, and I either turn around and I play it, or I play it right in front of me. That's the only time in volleyball you can touch the ball twice. And it's only 1 contact because a block will never count as a touch for your contact number. What? Yes, yeah, you'll see people who like jump up and they like touch it here and the net's up here and you're like, well, that was a block. And I'm like, you're like 5'1". Relax with the blocking stuff, guy. What we also can have is if he comes up and touches the ball on my hit, and it goes out of bounds and it lands because I was trying to hit the back wall and he got in my way. That's my point because he was the last person to touch it and the ball was dead. We'll talk about that more in a little bit. Thank you for being an amazing blocker for me. So that's about blocking. So in co-rec, that's what I was talking about, where it's one of the shadiest rules that we have. Each gender has to touch the ball if you have 3 touches. If I send it over on 1 or 2, I don't have to worry about that. But it's when we do a pass, a set, and a spike, that's when we have to have 3 contacts, or a pass, 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 or whatever we're gonna do. If you guys touch the ball 3 times, a lady and a man have to touch it. If I send it over on 1, I'm good. If I send it over on the second ball, so somebody passes it and I send it over, it can be all ladies all day. But as soon as we get 3 contacts, she passes, I set, you have to send it over. So you'll see a lot of teams where they're like, nah! because I have to get somebody of a different gender to touch the ball. Oh, you'll see it so much. It'll be screaming and yelling and gnashing of teeth. Cool. So we're getting a little bit nitty gritty now. So if I, on the very first ball, go to dig the ball and it hits here and it hits here, or it hits here and it hits me in the face, as long as it's one continuous motion coming up, it won't count as 2 contacts. But if I kick it and then it hits me in the face, that's not going to be one continuous motion. But here and like coming up is great. You'll see that 9 out of 10 times if we're having an issue with 2 contacts. Is like a roll up and off the face and somebody else plays it. What I can also do is if I'm taking the ball over my head, I can double it in my hands on a first contact ball. We're really lenient about this, so I don't know if you've ever seen volleyball, but anytime anybody's contacting it over their head, it usually comes out and it looks really clean. You can read the UNCW on the side of it. It's floating, it looks great. Here, this is usually what it looks like when it comes out of somebody's hands, and obviously we can't read the words on the side. That's not a reason to blow the whistle necessarily. Lots of nasty spin and a gnarly touch is an indication of a double contact out of my hands, but it is not the reason you should blow the whistle. So if I see somebody do this, that's 2 contacts. I touch the ball twice in a row without somebody else touching it. But this, that looked good. So anything that comes out of my hands and looks like gnarly, that, whatever, who cares? It's the issue of like, then we've got a problem. So if you can hear a distinct slap, slap, or I'm going to hit it and it goes through my hands and then into my face and then out again, that's when we're having an issue. So if you can hear and see 2 distinct contacts on the hands, that's when you blow your whistle. On a first ball, I can have a nasty contact like that and not have an issue, only on the first ball. If I try to do that on the second or the third ball, got a problem. Questions on that? Let's get that clarified really fast if you have questions. No? Cool. Best teacher ever? Great. The center line is also an issue. So, I'm all about examples. Yep. Oh. Can you guys see that well enough, even with the light on the screen? Cool. So the center line is the line in the center of the court. Context clues, I know. College education. So if I'm going to hit the ball and I land right here, this is not a center line violation. If I go here, that is not a center line violation. If I come here, then I turn to go back to my side, that is a center line violation. As long as I have the majority of my foot on my side, where it's just like the tippy toes on my foot are on the other side, we're fine. It's when I go all the way over or the majority over, because then I'm causing a safety problem. Because what's happening on the other side when I'm jumping? Somebody else is jumping. And I don't know about you guys, but ankles are designed to land flat. So when your ankle lands like this, it's either here or it's here. So that's why we don't want to go underneath the net. That's a big safety problem. So as soon as you see somebody do it once, hey, this is going to be a super hard warning. You do it again, you're going to lose a point. Every single time you go under that line or touch that line, you're going to lose a point, and I really don't want to hurt anybody on the other side. Because it's not so much of like, wow, that's unfair. I want the other person on the other side of the net to be able to play volleyball until they're 70. This is a lifelong game, and if you blow out every tendon in your knee, you're never going to play a sport again. So that's a super, super, super strict rule. A little bit over the line is okay. The majority of the foot or all of the foot is a no-go. And you will see guys, the ball's on top of the net, and they do one of these. So their whole body's under the net, or they're hanging on it. That's when we have a huge issue. Give me that.
All right, be careful bouncing it, because I don't want you to hit a sprinkler and then
Oh yeah, that would be an issue, sorry.
flood this room.
Can you put me down? Thanks. Welcome to training.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain that one exactly tomorrow. Or typically.
Violations. So we talked about a double hit. Can anybody tell me what it is?
2 separate contacts.
2 separate contacts of the ball. Can you tell me when it's okay to have a double hit? First ball. What happens if I play it down here with my platform and it rolls up my body?
As long as you first.
She good, as long as I don't have 2 separate contacts. Let's talk about my hands. When can I do one of these? On the first contact only, okay? So what happens if I set the ball and it comes out like this on a second or a third? Blow it dead. Perfect. Hitting the ball more than 3 times before it crosses the net. I gave you like a little peekaboo into what that is. What's the hand signal for that? 4. Yeah, we don't have an issue with 3. 3 is great. It's that 4th contact, and we always want to go thumb out. If we all can look exactly the same, and we all have really crisp mechanics, people will mess with you less. And I'm telling you, girls coming in who have played like 9 years of high school and club ball will be like, that's not the call, thanks. Because I know you know it happens in soccer where we're like, well, I mean, in the World Cup, you can do this. Like, you can slide tackle, it's not a big deal. You will get little girls that want to rip your throats out because you did the wrong call. I promise. So if we're really crisp, we got that thumb out, or we have the thumb out here, they won't mess with you. I promise. Center line violation. I didn't show you guys the call for this one, but it's really complex. You're going to point to the center line. It's super easy. So we point to the center line, and then we say the team that got the point, because this lady was under. You don't point to her, but I'm saying like she was under, center line, you lose a point, lady. So you just point to it. I like to do this with my hand so that I'm looking at the center line instead of like, cool. Oh, this has, oh, what? There was like pieces missing. Okay.
Yeah, because that was like questions on their test, so now it's.
Oh, was I not supposed to go over it yet?
No, you can, but now you have a chance to answer the questions that they wrote on their test, or the answer they wrote on the test.
Do we change them on the test?
No. Remember they?
Okay, I don't.
So they answered what they thought a double hit was.
Oh, okay.
What the violation was. So now you essentially can ask them, what is the center violation, and ask them based on what they put on their test.
Cool. How many of you guys got those right? Double hit. Kinda. Hit the ball twice in a row. It's pretty easy. Cool. Net violation. This is the same thing where I talked about like Brad and Chad put the ball on top of the net and then launch themselves into the net and like slam it down or pull it down to hit it harder. Not okay. We cannot touch the ball with any part of our body. Hair doesn't count. So when like Sienna is like this big and her ponytail goes down like to mid-thigh and she's like whipping it around and it hits the net, she's fine. But body, any part of the body. So I like gently brush the net like this, like, sorry, gotta go, you lose the point. It's against the rules. Because if we encourage this contact, then Brad and Chad are gonna think that slamming the net down and ripping it off of the poles is gonna be okay. Ooh, carry/lift. So what did you guys write on your test, since this is now how this is supposed to go? I want my back group, what do we got? Cool, I like that. I'll show you some differences. This is going to be a huge difference between a carrier lift and a not carrier lift. So I can do this all day, and it's down below my waist, which is where I don't really want to be contacting the ball, but since I have a fist, it's actually almost impossible for me to carry a ball because it don't stick. It pops off. That's what a carrier lift is. If it pops off, we're clean. But this, you will see a lot. You'll see like a little girl who looks like a 5th grader who's coming in and like getting one of these. This is not a volleyball contact. So if you see this in any capacity, this is a dangerous presentation. I'm really sorry. Really? But I need to. Okay. So anything down here with an open hand is going to be an issue. So this is the most prevalent one you're going to see. You'll also see this taking it from behind my head and trying to put it down. or trying to play it to somebody, but I'm not very good. So here is going to be an issue. If it sticks in my hand and I move it from behind me or underneath me to up, that's when we call a carrier lift. And the hand signal for that looks exactly like the way we play the ball. It's just here with either hand, depending on the side. Cool. Open palm hits, more than one quadrant in the body, so that's what I was talking about. If I take the ball behind me to in front, that's an issue, or here to up above. Who? Oh, we didn't call it. So, who do you think it is? Yeah, which is exactly what I said it was going to be, is one of these. Like, it's crunch time, ball's going down, she's panicking, throws it up. This is not a game of, here, let's turn this off. Okay, great. This is, oh, shush. This is not a game of taps. It's not like a thing. This is going to be a bad contact. If we're here with our hands together, we have our fists out and we do this, we're golden. Good for you. But it's that open thing that we don't like. Here's, let's watch another one. Oh my gosh, is she going to do it again? Oh no, she's good. Good, we called that one. So, can I pause? I can't pause. I just have to talk over what's happening. So we can see that, look, Homebro hits it, and then he can play it again, which if he had the correct contact, that would have been fine. He hit it into the block, so that means the other team touched it. Now his touch is reset. He can go 3 times again. So as long as somebody on the other side of the net contacts the ball, then I get all 3 of my touches back. The only issue with that one, let's watch again, is he gets, again, in crunch time, he panics, hits it, and then full, which is what we can't have. It's the panic contacts. They're going to be fast usually, so we have to be watching for those.
I should have zoomed in on her right when she had that look on her face like, alright.
1. Nope. Issue. Not good. Let's go again. So that one's kind of fun because he goes from the side and behind, which is, it's a new one. But again, it's the same exact thing. It's that crunch time, the panic. Ball's behind me, I don't know what's going on, grab it and throw it. Anytime the ball sticks on somebody at any point, wherever they are, that's gonna be a carry. So if I get it here and I'm like, and it sticks on me there, then it's gonna be a carry. Service violations. So we had those on the test, right? Yeah. What'd you guys put for a service violation?
Crossing the line, whenever you serve.
Yep. So the 5 seconds again, which you usually won't see because as soon as we get back behind the line, it's go time. The other example is when we talked about that one toss. So if I toss once poorly and I let it drop, and then I toss again poorly and I let it drop, then it's going to be the other team's point. That's another example of a service fault. And just so we all are clear, if I go to toss on my serve, I toss and I let it drop, you need to blow the point dead like this, and then you're going to reset and blow your whistle again. So I go to toss because you blew your whistle and you were like, whoop, great. I toss, I don't like it. The ref immediately needs to go beep, and then reset the serve, and then I can toss again and serve. So it's not just like a free-for-all, like I blow it once and then we can just keep going. That way you guys are remembering, okay, she's got one bad one for this serve rotation, because if I serve my first ball, I toss it and I don't like it, and I serve 10 more balls, and then on the 11th ball, I toss it and I don't like it, you have to remember that's in the same serve rotation. That's gonna be the other team's point. So if we blow it dead, that'll help you guys remember. Okay, so another big one. So let's see, I'll draw a picture of the court. That'll probably be easier and faster. Yeah, there are some. I just want one that's not like really, really dead. That one was kind of dead. So, the court. I'll draw it this way for you guys, so that'll be easier. Can you see this in the back? Like a little bit? Kind of? Okay. Cool. I didn't hear any responses, so I'm just gonna roll with it. So as an up ref, right here is where your stand is, and your down ref is a little bit smaller. We'll draw them right here. This is your net. That's why it's got a longer line than everything else. There's a 10-foot line on each side, and then the end line is right here, and then these are the side lines. So if I'm a server, let's serve right here. That's a great serve, because I'm behind the line, and I'm inside these lines right here. The issue is where I'm trying to get somebody on the other side of the court, and I want to serve from over here. I cannot do that. I have to serve within the sidelines, going to continuum until we hit that curved wall in the back. So what you can do is explain it to them the first time, especially in the first couple weeks. I mean, I know girls who have been playing for a long time don't even know that that's a rule. So as soon as you see them set up, hey, I just want to let you know you have to contact the ball within the sidelines for it to be a legal serve. Oh, cool, thanks. And we go back and she sets up over here. What she can do is start here and do like a weird like loop-de thing. And as long as she's contacting the ball behind this end line and inside the sideline, she's great. If she wants to run 7 miles before she serves, good for her. She can do whatever she wants. Also, what we can do is we'll demo with this line. Is you'll see girls who try to jump serve, usually not successfully, but they can do whatever they want. Like, I mean, you want to give the other team points, do it. So she starts back here, she does a weird thing, she jumps right here, she hits the ball somewhere when she's up here, and she lands this far into the court. Yay or nay?
As long as she contacts it behind the line.
Yes. Well, no, not necessarily. As long as she jumps before the line, she can contact it wherever she wants. If she has some kind of strange 10-foot vertical and she can land on the 10-foot line, she can contact the ball here if she wants, but she has to take off. That's got to be the jump zone before that line. Just because there's no way we can judge if she's actually contacting it before the line, but we can see your little foot was over the line, it's a no-go. If any part of my foot, the shoe's coming off again. If any part of my foot touches that line, even if it's that much, it's the other team's point. You won't see that much because you're going to be far away. What you will see is here, or somebody doesn't even understand the rules of volleyball at all and they set up inside of the court. Go ahead and tell them, hey, you have to be behind the line to serve, because if they're doing that, they've never even seen or heard of volleyball before, and we don't want to ruin this experience for them. We want them to come back, because that's our job. We're customer service. So be super personable, help people out, because volleyball is definitely not a men's heavy sport in high school. I mean, how many of your high schools even had volleyball? Yeah, so we got like 3. Cool. From the north, because it's not a thing down here. So anyhow, a lot of guys don't know any of the rules at all. The last time they played was gym class, and that's not real volleyball. So, where I think, cool. How am I doing on time?
You're great.
Really? Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's only 7:30.
Cool. So watch her. Ah! Watch her again. Oh my God. Cool. So she stepped over the line. Does anybody know the call for that? What will we do with our hands?
Only take one.
Yeah. It is really that easy. Hey, you stepped on the line, I'm gonna point to the line and then give the other team the point. Don't make this harder than it has to be, because it's not. You step on the center line, we're gonna point to the line and come over here. You touch the ball 4 times, and give them the point. So it is really as easy as you think it is. Yeah, Danny's a ref. Woohoo.
Isn't this like backer attack or? Isn't there one?
That one. Do that with the whole body. Okay, screening. You will literally never see this. You've ref with us before, right? Or no?
No, I played last year.
Okay, great. Do you even know what screening is? Have you ever seen it ever?
Oh, no, I did it last year.
The worst. So screening is when, can you come demo with me? Can you come demo with me also? Come here, both of you. I need both of you. So if we're all up here in the front row, and there's my servers back here, and you guys are trying to see past us to look at the server, and we're all doing this. Put your hands up.
I didn't do hands.
And we're all right next to each other. and you move out of our way and I do one of these so that you can't see, that's against the rules. Thank you, demo people. So if we're going to do that, we have to have space in between us for people to be able to move into the gap and see the server, and you cannot do one of these if he's trying to see. That's against the rules. That's what screening is, which people aren't smart enough to realize that that's even a possibility, so they're not going to do it. But if you see somebody like really getting one of those, then it's against the rules, and you're going to blow your whistle and give the point to the other team. Okay, sorry. I have a bruised rib, so if you see me like buckle in pain, that's what's going on. Serving within the boundary lines, we just talked about that. Blocking is allowed, so that's only allowed for front row players, and we'll talk about why in a second. And illegal back row attack means somebody in the back row has run all the way up to the front row because they like the front row better, and they're trying to pretend that they belong there and jumping. If you're in the back row, you have to stay in the back row, which means you cannot be jumping around in the front row trying to touch a ball or hitting a ball from the front row. If you're in the back row, stay behind the 10-foot line, which is this super fun line that I drew that I'll show you. Oh my God. No, I don't think so. Maybe in a second. I'll let you know. If I pass out, definitely. So if I'm in the back row, my position's right here, but my team's not very good at hitting. I've got a bunch of, what did I say, Sienna was 5'1" with a long ponytail. If I've got like 3 Siennas and they're like this big in the front row, I cannot run up to the front row and hit a ball over and get a kill. And I also cannot block at the front row when the other team is trying to hit the ball over to me. If I'm in the back row, I gotta do my time. I've got 3 rotations back there, that's it. If your team was good, then you could come up faster, but they're probably not if you're trying to run up into the front row and take a ball. All right. So we'll see a demo of that. See?
Right.
So, is that Allie right there? So, doesn't have the ponytail to match, but she'll tear you up. So, it's my friend here in the orange shirt. See how he just jumped in front of the 10-foot line and hit a ball over? Our ref didn't call it. That's okay. You guys will be better. But look at where he's going to jump. Already he's like hanging out in the front row. What are you doing there, guy? Then look at him. He said, "I'm a man!" And he hit it over. You can't do that. Violations, is it in or out? So this is when we're calling a point dead. So let me roll my thing back up. Oh gosh. I don't know. I took 8 ibuprofen, so I should have, but like, I don't know what I did. What was I doing where that like happened? I don't know what that was. It was bad. All right. Yeah, I don't want a stomach lining anymore. So, if this is my in court and this is out of bounds, which basically means that this is the court right here and people are standing here and they're playing. And this is my line, my end line or my sideline or whatever line it is. If the ball lands here, is it in? Yes. If the ball lands here, is it in? Yes. Because if any portion of the ball is touching the line, it is in. And if it's here, we're going to flatten the ball. And wherever the ball is flattened, because you see obviously the only part of the ball that's touching is like this much of it. We're going to flatten the ball. And wherever the flat ball is, that is in or out. If it's that close and you don't feel comfortable about your decision or you didn't see it, we can always replay. But honestly, if you make a decision and you stick with it, nobody's gonna mess with you. It's with the like, I didn't see it. That's when we have an issue. Double fault is a replay. So that means that Brad and Chad both took off and launched into the net. Brad's on one team, Chad's on the other. We both launched into the net and we both grabbed the net at the same time. Then it's going to be a replay. That's usually the only time you're going to see a double fault is when both players were in the net. Playing the ball, we talked about 3 hits max. The block does not count as a touch. Simultaneous contact, we talked about that guy also. Oh, no, we didn't talk about that guy. That's a different one. So, simultaneous contact. Can I get you to demo with me again? So, we're both going for a ball. Just stick your arm out. Just like right here. I don't want to go across your body. So, we're both going for a ball. We're like this. The ball goes here. We have no idea who played it. It's a simultaneous contact. Ball goes up. Either one of us can play it again. So if you cannot tell who played it because we're both next to each other and we're going for it at the same time and our arms are stacked on top, either can play it. And so if somebody's on the other side is like, that's a double. No, they both contacted the ball simultaneously. If you use a big word like simultaneously, same thing. Nobody's going to mess with you. That's why I say I beckoned for serve. That's what this is. If you say beckon one time, nobody's going to mess with you. So
that'd be one hit, right?
Yes. That's only one contact. Yes. Good question. Let's check out a simultaneous contact. Oh no, that's out of bounds. So here's a fun fact that people who play volleyball still have no idea. See how this ball just touched that antenna? It's super obvious. I really want to pause this. Be quiet. No, okay. So it's super obvious if the ball itself actually touches the antenna because it'll change directions. But what is also illegal is, I'm doing a lot of drawing. So what's also illegal is, so this is my antenna, super cute. It connects to the net. There's a little bit of net on each side. Or not on each side, I mean this is the rest of the net. This is where people are standing. This is our out of bounds line because the antenna goes up right at the out of bounds line because it's a continuation of that line to infinity. So if the ball touches any part on the net or above the net, it's whistled dead because it's out of bounds. If the ball touches outside of the net, where the antenna is, and they still play it, that is still considered out. Anything past the antenna is out of bounds. So I cannot play a ball off of the net past the antenna out of bounds at all. I cannot play the ball off of the net when it hits the antenna either. I can play a ball off of the court out here if I want to. Like let's say one of my teammates accidentally put the ball over here. I can run, play that ball, and bring it back inside, but it has to go inside of the antenna before I send it over. So if I'm trying to send the ball over from here, and I send it this way, and it doesn't make it on the inside of the antenna, it is not legal, it's out of bounds. So we extend that antenna to infinity all the way up. So if the ball goes over top of the antenna, like 20 feet above it, it's also considered out. You just have to make an imaginary line because the antenna only goes up like 3 feet past the top of the net, probably. Cool. So that guy hits the antenna and they're still playing it because my ref wasn't paying attention. So this ball is going to land out of bounds, except I can't play it. Nope. I don't know. Dang it. I don't want to talk about it. I pressed the play button, I think. I don't really know what happened. But I think we're almost done though. So like that's cool. Nuh-uh. We only have 28. 27. Let's see if I make it. So, I'll give you guys a super easy way to remember. Oh, we could have kept it there. Super easy way to remember whether the ball is a touch or out. I said that the captain's meeting is one of the hardest parts of your job. This is the second hardest part of your job. You have to decide whether a ball is a touch contact or out, which really, again, the only time anybody's going to notice the difference is Sienna, who's playing club volleyball for 12 years, and she wants to murder you because you made the wrong call. That's the only person that's going to know the difference. But again, if you can get it right every single time, Sienna won't mess with you. So, that ball, we'll watch it again, and I'll see what you guys think, except I think I have to touch it. We'll see what you guys think, whether it's out of bounds or a touch, and I'll explain what a touch is. Cool. So a touch contact is when I make contact with the ball on my side of the net, and it goes out of bounds to infinity on my half of the net. An out call is when it goes off of me and over the net and lands out of bounds on the other side of the net to infinity. So we'll watch one more time, and then I want you guys to vote whether you think it is out or a touch. So raise your hand if you think it is out. Go now. Raise your hand if you think it is out. Raise your hand if you think it is a touch. Where was the ball going to land? On the other side of the net.
But it was on the outside of the antenna, right?
So, if it's any touch, if it touches the antenna or it goes outside of the antenna, it's out. Even if I contact the ball and I put it into the antenna on my side in the net, you remember we were talking about where it can't touch the net outside of the antenna? Even if it's on my side of the net, if we're talking anything with the antenna, out is always going to be your sign. So if it clips the antenna, if it anything, right away. So that ball, before our lovely ref, who didn't call anything before this, touched it, and no whistle again. She still didn't call it, and it hit her. Anyhow. So this ball was going to land right about here, which means she contacted it from her side of the net, and it went out of bounds on the other side. That is out. If she had contacted it over here and it went out of bounds on her side, then it would have been a touch. Play the ball out of the net as long as blah, blah, blah. We talked about, this is Brad and Chad. Well, no, not quite. This isn't Brad and Chad. So if one of my teammate passes the ball into the net and I come here underneath the net, I'm able to play it off of the net as long as I don't touch the net. So the ball goes into the net like this and it starts to fall down. I can grab it and scoop it out. Totally legal. I can also, if I want to, hit it back into the net and let somebody play it. You won't see that. I don't know why you would want to do that, but you can play the ball if the ball touches the net. Ball touching the net will never be a fault. So if the ball touches the net, I don't want to see you back into the net because that's not an issue. Watch for players touching the net. That's Brad and Chad. Center line, Brad and Chad again. They like to jump all over the net. Watch for lifts. This is a lift, not a list. We don't watch for lists in volleyball. But lifts, that's again when it starts to get to crunch time, the ball is lower than usual. That's when you're going to see a big grab and throw, which is what a carry or a lift is. Good net play. Let's do it.
I'm not there. He said wait till 8:45. It's not even.
We should have probably muted these. So, my lady in the pink tank top jumps up and she hits the ball when it's right on top of the net. Good for her. She doesn't touch the net. The ball is in that plane. It's right on the line of the net to infinity. She's good to go. She's cool.
I'm not there. He said wait till 8:45. It's not even. Yeah.
Good for my lady in the pink. She got a point for her team. She was killing it. That is good net play because she didn't touch the net, and she hit the net, or hit the ball. Oh gosh, she did not hit the net. She hit the ball when it was right on the top of the net. Oh, that's not what I want. What was the score? Was it bad?
120.
Wow. I told you they're not going to be close, guys. Is there? Oh, okay, I thought that was a video. So if the ball hits the ceiling, which is the only time it can touch one of the, I guess, 6 walls. If the ball hits the ceiling, that's the only time you can play it off of the ceiling. And that's only if it goes up into the ceiling on my side and I still have contacts left. So if I pass it on the first contact and it goes all the way up into the ceiling, and somebody else on my team can get another contact on it after it comes down and send it over, or on the third contact, good for us. The issue is when I put it into the ceiling, it hits the ceiling, or any part of the ceiling.
Go ahead and click it to the shot. There you go.
It hits the ceiling and it goes on the other side. So ceiling and back on my side, we're good to go. Ceiling and on the other side, it is out. If it touches any of the other walls, it is also deemed out. Before we go over co-rec differences, can we take a 2-minute break?
Go do this real quick, and then
Okay.
he starts talking about the sportsmanship stuff, so we'll take a break for that.
Cool, great.
There's 2 more slides for more.
Okay, great. So, volleyball is 6 versus 6. That's the goal. A lot of times you won't see teams with full 6. I think almost all of the teams we've seen so far have only had 5 or 4. But the goal is to have 6 versus 6. If you're doing co-rec, it has to be 3 males and 3 females. Again, you don't usually see 6 on 6. Especially later in the season, I feel like people start to die out. Everybody says they can play on an intramural team and then nobody actually shows up. So you can start with 4. Again, you have to have the same number of males and females. 2 of each gender have to be there to start the game. So if I've got 3 ladies and 1 male, that's not going to work. Have to have the same number of people. If I've got 5, then I can have 3 and 2. So we talked about this. If you use all 3 contacts, each gender has to contact the ball in that rally before you send it over for it to be legal. If not, we blow the point dead right away. And if we do have enough people to start, the order of how you're setting up on the court has to be male, female, male, female, or female, male, female, male. It doesn't really matter. But I have to have a lady and a man next to each other in order to have a correct lineup. What I don't want to see is Brad, Chad, and Pete all up in the front row slamming the ball down. It can't be like that. We have to rotate and alternate gender when we're setting up our team. Obviously, if there's 5, there has to be 1 back-to-back. Is that Thor? No, not Thor. So we've got 3 ladies next to each other and 2 guys next to each other. So my guy in the orange is next to this guy in the green, and my 1, 2, and 3 ladies are all next to each other. So this guy in the green needed to go between 2 of these ladies, either or. Because obviously there has to be 2 girls next to each other because you have more girls than guys. So now we're doing what?
What's the call for the gender role?
So we don't have a hand signal just because that is...
Like the point system or anything like that. Like if they hit it in the wrong order, does the other team get...
Yes, the other team gets a point. So it's like a normal fault, we just don't have a hand signal for why. So you'll just give the other team the point, and then you'll say gender rule.
You'll do 3.
3?
Yeah, it says like 3 of the same gender had contact. Just
With
we
3?
have to have
Okay, all right.
Only if it's like, if it goes like male, male, male over the net.
Yeah. I just like, I don't like, well, I mean, obviously it's like this in America, but I like that too. Okay, now we're taking a break.
Yeah, go ahead and take a break.
Cool, great. You can go to the bathroom. The bathroom's right across.
I'll pick up a desk called Carolina Recovers.
Thank you. Like, I really don't know what happened, but I like cracked something.
Broke another one?
I don't know.
We've decided officially that you are now in charge of every training, regardless of knowledge.
I'm a fun time. I took my ibuprofen out.
Yeah, well, it took 8 of them to be part of it.
12 is the max in 24 hours, okay?
You literally was like, you said it's okay.
So you will do that. You fill out the
Who's gonna get in trouble for the ibuprofen thing, or just training in general?
That's recorded up in there. I took 8 ibuprofen.
So we'll send you an email to set up a time for you to come to our office, and then you'll fill out some paperwork with us, and then we'll give you who you need to meet with. Sound good?
Thank you.
Yeah, and then in terms of training, I'll send out an email. It'll have the link, and it'll have all the PowerPoints, so you can just read that, and then we'll give you the tomorrow night.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we'll play tomorrow night and stuff.
I have no idea. It's never hurt this bad. But I just finished. How many slides is that? Probably like 15.
There is.
I might cry, but
Hopefully more.
Don't worry, I'll take some of these for you. There's 20 left.
yeah, cool.
So you did like.
Caroline, I will say this has been a very entertaining for
Oh yeah, I'm a TA.
you. This is
So like I teach really well. Kids understand.
this is
They do a great job. It's far less dry than normal. I think my French guys are really lagging.
the shoe coming off.
Oh yeah.
You get the ball.
That was our thing.
Knock everything off.
Some real life experiences.
Are there any more actual volleyball rules on here, or is it just like
We go
formalities?
with, like up down ref. I think we do a little bit of 4-on-4.
Oh, there's sand volleyball rules, but it's the same things.
Yeah. Let's have it on.
Officiating fundamentals. That's the up, down, right? But we go over all of that tomorrow as well. So,
Yeah.
line
Backward
coverage,
attack.
which you've already covered.
That is not it.
It's not this?
That's not that much. It's in front, and then 45 degrees. In front, up, and then here. It's not. Because that looks like you're...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop making me move.
And then this is replay the point.
Yep.
This is that violation, isn't it?
Well, you just... It's not like the whole thing, but you just point to the net. You're great. It'll be great.
Yeah, you don't really.
Those are high school volleyball is a sport to run if you do high school.
Yeah, it's inside. And
Everyone I've heard, it's like really, it's easy.
Cape Fear Academy, we pay $50 a match to line judge, not even to ref, to line judge.
I run for JO when I
But you have to make these to get in, don't you?
Like a little bit, but like line judging, you don't have to be as
I
certified.
did my undergrad, I did my undergrad page like line judging. I made a kid snap a flag. That's good.
UNCW pays $65 a match, but that's a little more intense.
I would love to.
Alright, we'll go ahead and keep rolling.
Yeah, just because it's college, it actually matters.
All that break. Here, you want to give me the mic?
Yep, I do. I do definitely want to do that for you. Guys, I think standing.
Just guess. Yeah, one of each.
All right, so we're going to touch on, while I give Caroline a little bit of a break, we're going to touch on some sportsmanship and handling conflict stuff, because you will deal with it out here, unfortunately, when you're playing. So sportsmanship, we grade on a 1 to 5 scale, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best, as I just mentioned. Every game, the officials, so you all will give us a rating on what you think each team gets. And this should be done right after the game when it's fresh in your mind, when you've seen the teams, when you remember what happened, and going on. So you'll give that rating to the supervisor on the score sheet, and they'll make a record of it. 5, team didn't argue any calls and they were perfect sports. Now 5s are rare, but they do happen. So it's important that if a team deserves a 5, we give them a 5. If they weren't perfect, then we're not going to give them a 5. 4s are teams that have argued about a few calls, but they're respectful towards the officials and opposing team. Players are going to disagree with you, so don't knock a team just because they were upset that you had one bad call or they didn't disagree with the call. As long as they didn't start screaming after the call, they asked some questions about it, you should be fine. 3, team that argue about several calls. There may have been 1 or 2 yellow cards given. That's not for volleyball, but they may have argued about a couple calls. Most teams will fall somewhere between a 3 and a 4. For the most part, you will deal with teams in that range, but you will have some 2s where they've argued several calls with you. They've argued, you've had to give warnings about their play and about them talking back with you. And a 1 is the team has no control, and they have just completely gone off the rails. They are screaming, they are cursing at you, whatever it is, that team that deals with that. In both of these situations, you will need to let the supervisor know, because the supervisor will have to make a note of it and document that going forward in our stuff. So you all will fill out a report that explains why you gave them a 2 or why you gave them a 1, because if they average below a 3 for the season, they don't make the playoffs. So it's important that we get that information from you all. We get it a full detailed report. If they said, hey ref, F you after a call, I want you to write, the player said, hey ref, F you. I lost my mic. So we want to make sure that you guys are detailing as much as possible, because when we meet with that team, they're going to ask us questions about it, or the more details we have, the less defensive they can be when we tell them, hey, this is exactly what you told our official that night. So handling conflict. So when a player's upset, you need to know what they're upset about. Try to figure it out. If they're mad about a call and don't personally attack you, leave it alone. So if they say, oh, that's horrible. I mean, once or twice, we don't need to call them out for it. Continually, that's when we're going to kind of deal with it. So if they attack you or use profane language, you need to address it immediately. You're horrible. Are you effing kidding me? The ball doesn't lie. Stuff like that, where they're directly critiquing you and your call. If they bait an opponent, this also needs to be addressed. So if we're playing, say, basketball, you can't guard this, you might as well sit on the bench. So obviously taunting, we want to avoid that as much as possible. Volleyball, I mean, I get it because there's a net between them, but still, we want to be aware of it. We want to at least be alert of it in case taunting things. So some steps to handle it. The first step you can take is a quiet word. So one-on-one, where only you and the player can hear this conversation. So you tell the player, hey, come here real quick, and then you, from your stand, your volleyball stand, you lean down and just have a quick conversation with them about it. Public warning, that's enough. So you verbally let everyone know what's going on, and you have shut it down, and so that's enough. A captain's meeting, you do this. We want you to use this early in the game rather than later in the game when everyone's getting heated. But you call 2 captains together, you tell them, look, this is enough chirping from both sides. It needs to stop now. Technical foul, we don't use that in volleyball, so ignore that one. But if you want to give it, you look a little weird, but again, an ejection, so you have the power to eject a player if you so choose. This is the last resort, but if they cross the line, they cross the line. So you have the power to say, whatever number, that's enough, send them out. Let the supervisor know that you have ejected someone, because they will have to handle paperwork from that. You will still file a report for why you ejected that player. You have to justify it. You can't eject someone for questioning your call. They have to straight up berate you. They have to curse at you. They have to scream things at you. Don't make threats. So don't tell a player one more word and you're gone, because if they just say one more word, they're gone. So don't make a threat, because then you have to fulfill it. And if you don't fulfill it, then you look poorly. You lose all credibility that you have. Make sure you draw the line in concrete, not the sand. So don't draw a line and then erase the line and go back and draw another line, and then erase that line and draw another line. Essentially, you want to draw one firm line. That they cross that line, then you take care of business. But you don't want to keep erasing that line and going further back, because then you lose the credibility that you have with the team. You ready to take over? Or you want me to continue?
No, I got you.
All right, so Caroline's going to take back over. Injury and all.
Yeah, that was good. Like, hold my hand if I start getting too much pain, so I don't cry. It'll be great.
It was all recorded. You all are going to have a great...
Listen, Andy, I don't get paid enough for this. Don't even know my name, Andy. Come on. All right. So there's 2 positions you will be working. Up ref, and that's my favorite, because when you do that, yeah, come here. When we're having a quiet word, there is no more of a power move than you looking down on someone and telling them to stop what they're doing. Oh. Being up 4 feet, 5 feet, however much it is it's empowering, really. So that's your up ref, because you're up. Really, volleyball is thoroughly simple. It's actually just a game of don't let the ball hit the ground. So we make officiating as simple as we possibly can too. So the up referee does all of the hard work, which isn't hard because volleyball is not a hard sport to officiate. Illegal contacts, that is what? What's an illegal contact? One of them. Perfect, I need another one.
Me?
Yeah. Shouldn't point a laser at people, that's bad. I know, yeah. Don't put that on the film.
Me?
guess that's like being it. Oh, Fortis.
Yeah. Give me another one.
When you
What's that called?
it's scary.
Yes. Sorry, that was like, this is my outdoor voice. Okay. And violations. The screening of somebody. What would violations be an example of a violation?
Say, wait, what now? What was the question?
A violation. So like, let's think of Brad and Chad. What did they do wrong?
Net violation or
Net violation. Or a what?
center line slide.
Center line. What is another violation? Serving violation. Cool. Good job, team. It's like So oh, well, they're all up here. Wow. Well, that was embarrassing. I didn't read that far. Back row, that's another good one too. And these guys do all of the hand signals that people are actually looking at. The down ref always reflects everything that the up ref does, but nobody ever actually looks at the down ref. The down ref really doesn't do much except help call things on their lines, and the center line is usually their call because they're closer to that. So, but the big difference is that this person is watching the ball and watching the contacts, while the down ref is watching the net and watching the center line. This person has to decide if people touch it, if the touches are legal. The down ref does not. They are strictly calling the line in front of them and on the side, calling the center line and calling the net. We don't, as a down ref, we don't do any of the hard work. So we cannot watch the contacts of the players playing or the ball moving up and down, because if you see somebody doing this, that's not what we should be watching. We should be watching the players and where the ball is going to fall on the ground if it's doing that. So that's especially what the down ref does, which we'll talk about in a second. But that's the difference between the up ref and the down ref. They also beckon for serve. Remember the word beckon. Pull that out of your repertoire if somebody's really being nasty, even if it doesn't make any sense. Man, like, I beckon for serve and that doesn't have anything to do with this, but use the buzzword. Down ref. So what I just said, they have the easy job. Entry of subs. Do we actually, Danny, do you know if we actually sub, or do people just come in and out? Because we're not recording subs on a sheet.
I believe we still need to,
Do that fun, the pretend that we sub, but we don't really. Cool. That way, okay, so we pretend that we do subs as one of these, and you say, go ahead, ladies, or go ahead, gentlemen. But we don't record it, so you just have to make sure people aren't running on and off the court willy-nilly. So that you reflect everything you see the up ref doing. If the up ref misses something, you can also call that. So a lot of times, if I'm net fouls, the center line is all the down ref, because they're not looking at people, they're looking at the floor in front of them, the net in front of them, and the sideline on the sides of them. They confirm the scores at the end, and they do the one timeout that each team gets, and subs. So this is what people are responsible for. Is U up ref and R is down ref? Yes. Cool. So the down ref is responsible for the side lines.
R is up ref.
That's what I thought. Why would you be down ref?
Referee and umpire. So it's like basketball is referee and umpire.
That's not a thing. Okay, well.
Well, think about who can see more in the situation.
That's what I was thinking, but
Yeah,
I just rolled with it as U is up. So, because you are 4 feet elevated above everybody else, you have the majority of the sidelines. You also have to take a look at the feet for serving violations. From down below and farther away, it looks like people foot fault on almost every ball, even if they're like 4 or 5 inches away from the end line. So that's what the up ref has to be checking out. They're not watching the person toss, and we're not looking at the serve. As soon as they go to toss, we're looking at their feet. We don't watch the serve go over the net. We go feet, and then we find the person who's going to pass the ball on the other side. And these are talking about, we're watching the line. The down ref is watching the center line and the net, and we're watching everything else if you're the up ref, really. Because that's why we put you on a big stand, so you can see everything. Before, during, and after the serve. So that's what I just said, watching the offense alignment. That's for screening. Server's feet, that is super, super important. A foot fault is probably one of the most prevalent faults you will call, especially in the beginning, because people don't understand where their body is, because I don't know, sports are hard. So we don't understand what we're doing with our body when we're trying to, so they will step 7 feet over the line and not realize it. So that's where you have to be watching the feet. Don't look at the ball. The ball will go. That is what the ball is doing. The ball will always go to the other side of the net. If it doesn't, great, that made your job easier, but you have to look at the feet. Then immediately go find the person on the other side who's going to pass it. Or if it's in or out, we find the line and see where the ball hit in accordance to that. During the rally, the up ref is watching the top of the net when the ball is getting close to it. If not, you're not looking at the top of the net because you also have to watch all of the contacts. But as soon as the ball gets tight to the net, I actually will go from a standing position here to lower on the net so I can see whether or not somebody's touching it or if the ball touched it or if I had to touch on the block or whatever. So that's me personally. You guys don't have to do that, but I like to come down in closer so I can really see what's going on. And the down ref will watch everything else. The bottom of the net, which you'll see a lot, is the down ref is going to call people brushing just because the up ref has to watch their hand contacts if they're setting. So the down ref will see this little brushing contact there on the bottom of the net and we'll call that. Haha! So this is an example of good serve, whistle, and mechanics, but remember this video? Watch cute supervisor alley foot fault during the serve. So that's something. Watch, she's not looking at the server's foot. She said, "Oh, look at the ball." Follows the ball the whole way. We do not follow the ball. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do.
You can click on the computer screen.
Don't yell at me. So we do not watch the ball go. The ball will go no matter what, like I just said. Watch the foot, find the player that's going to pass it, because even though she had great mechanics, good for her, she missed a really obvious foot fault. But yes, her mechanics were correct. What is it when we do this when somebody's serving? What's the buzzword? Beckon! We beckon for serve. So I like everything these guys are doing. The up ref has a strong whistle. She's got good mechanics. Down ref is also mirroring. The only thing all right, Danny, I'll listen. Oh, it didn't play. See, some of them, I don't know. The only thing I'm not super fond of that they're doing is she goes and then hands down. You should be saying in your head, the ball was in, so it's this team's point. I want to go that slow so people see you, because if you do this, they're going to grab the ball and they're going to look up and they're going to be like, what happened? And then you have to do it again or say, you don't want to talk to them. Ooh, that's why we use hand signals. So you don't want to say that. So as soon as the ball is dead, we're going to blow our whistle really fast. As soon as the ball hits the ground, blow, think about it. The ball was in, this team got the point. Fast whistle, wait, slow hands. That's the only thing I'm not super fond of. What?
Also, as down ref, she in the video, she's watching the serve happen. You're supposed to be focusing on the line and what's happening on the other side, so you're catching that first
Is that the last one? Watch her again.
So she's watching
Look at her.
serve the ball, but it puts you on that other side of the net, so you can be watching what's happening over there and near the net.
And she watched the ball go up and over too. Look at her head. Meow. Wrong call. That was not what I wanted, so apparently that doesn't start a video.
Oh, what's it gonna lab?
What's it gonna go to lab?
I mean, like, not how loud.
Ew.
5 minutes on there.
What? What are you doing? Yeah, Sienna's gonna beat you up. What are you doing? So, oh, look at her, and you can even see her hand. She's like, so, I'm not really sure why she was calling a back row block. This is out, by the way. Palms in is out. This is a different call. So there's finite little differences. But she was trying to call her on a back row block, which I'm assuming is trying to be out, but she messed up. So what I probably would have called is a double, because if you watch that girl's hand contact, it was a full whap, whap. We don't want to do that. So let's watch again and try to figure out what this girl's trying to do. I don't know.
Oh, what's it gonna lab? I mean, like, not how loud.
That's why I didn't like that hand contact. But I think what happened was, so the girl was off of the court when she contacted that ball. No, they are trying to call her on a double. Oh, geez. So, as another, I really couldn't grasp what she's trying to do. But, so the girl was off of the court when she contacted that. That's not an issue. You can run to high heaven and contact the ball as long as you're obviously inside of these walls on the side. But what is the call if I have a gnarly contact like that? Yeah, it's 2 because it's 2 contacts. This is not a call, or this is not a call. As much as Danny tried to make this a thing, it's not a thing. Stop trying to make fetch happen. 2? This is, yeah, you did this though, Danny. Wasn't it a full body thing? Yeah. Not a thing. Oh, so when we set up the courts, which we'll do tomorrow, everything is labeled. So if we're playing women's or men's, just have the letter showing. They're numbered. If you can see the numbers, great. Whatever you're doing, the letter needs to be showing. So if you're playing at women's, you better see that W. If you're playing at men's, the M better be the bottom one. The women will be up here. The W will be up here farther because the men goes up higher. But whatever you're at, it needs to be right above the red bottom portion of the poles. Like I said, antennas should be a vertical extension of the sideline to infinity. So find it, line it up, put it on the outside of the line because the line is still all technically in. If it contacts the line, it's in. We want to mark the very, very, very edge of the line to infinity, so put it on the outside portion of the line.
Co-ed is men.
Yes.
Co-ed is women's height. Women's are co-ed height.
That's dangerous. Is that true, Katie? Co-ed is at women's height?
Yes.
That's so dangerous.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna die.
I want to be playing indoor, not outdoor.
Okay, well,
I changed the rule.
Yeah.
yeah, I really should because somebody's gonna die. Brad and Chad's gonna step on somebody.
Natural selection.
What?
Natural selection.
Oh, yeah. Are we doing this today, right now?
Yeah.
Cool. How much time do I have left? Do I need to speed it up?
You got it. It's 8:22.
How many slides are left? Am I doing okay on time?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like 10. It's not even like 10 slides.
Oh, cool. So the big difference between our 4-on-4 sand volleyball and our indoor volleyball is literally just the number of people. We don't play real sand volleyball here. We play fake sand volleyball. So, 4 players. There's 2 different ways they can set up and rotate, which I'll show you in a second. You can start with 3 players. Obviously, if it's co-rec and you're playing with 4, it has to be 2 males and 2 females. If you've got 3, you can play down a gender because that's how the number 3 works. So 2 females, 1 male, or 2 males and 1 female. 1 of one gender and 2 of the other. So just said that. Super cool. Co-rec plays. Does co-rec? Okay, so this needs to be changed, Danny. Make note. 2 males, 2 females, 4.
Yeah, I can't add it, so it is 4.
It's okay. You don't get paid to do math.
Exactly. That's on another one.
Substitutions are made on the referee's side, and it's at your discretion. So if somebody tries to run onto the court in the middle of a play, or you already blew the whistle and they're trying to sub, say, hold on, wait for the end of this play, and let the play continue. That's what it means by at any dead ball. If it's not a dead ball, they don't get to sub. You run the court. It's your court. Same thing, best 2 out of 3. The only difference is now we're playing to 15 for every game. There's no cap again. Win by 2, just like usual, 1 timeout per game. And like I said before, we weren't allowed alive for anything else, so obviously it's rally scoring. Each team will rotate clockwise, and perfect. Here are the 2 ways you can set up. If people ask, recommend this way. That is better for volleyball, but you'll see a lot of people just go square because they don't understand. Right back is the position that is still serving, just to make that easier. So we go around. If you're here, we'll do, because the right middle will go to the back person, we'll have the back person serve. It doesn't quite matter where they're running into, as long as you're making sure that the serve is rotating between people. Same thing, 5 seconds. Throw the ball up and let it drop once per serve rotation. Same thing as before. Can serve from any spot, but again, you have to be serving within those sidelines. They can start outside, they can come in, they can start behind the line, jump and land inside the court. All of the same rules apply. The only difference, again, 4 people. So we just went over this. Can start with 3, 2, and 1 for genders. If a team touches the ball 3 times, each gender has to touch it. Same exact thing applies. Order must alternate if you have 4 people with male, female, male, female. If we only have 3, obviously you can't not alternate. Question?
No, it's
Just posing. I feel that, girl. Questions?
Real quick, Caroline, one difference for sand volleyball is they can play barefoot, so like in the other one.